Hi, I'm Gary Kim, and I'm here today with Jim Poole, who's a general manager with Equinix, and he runs their global and mobile business. Jim, one question. In your meetings today with potential clients here at PTC, is it more enterprise, is it more carrier? What are you looking for?
For us, it's really a carrier event. We have probably slightly more than 900 carrier customers, and it's great to be able to come into some place where literally everybody I talk to is someone we do business with.
Question for you. In terms of architecting a global network, back in the old days with voice is very latency tolerant. You could put your central offices wherever you wanted. You could put your tandem offices wherever you wanted. These days, most of the bits that are flying over the global network are IP bits, they're content bits. And I'm guessing that has something dramatic to do with how you design a network and why a company like Equinix is growing so fast.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole reason our business exists is because of the proliferation of content and applications over the internet. When we got started 13 years ago, we were responding essentially to the ISP community, trying to figure out a way to better scale connectivity between each other. They used to run metro circuits, and that was expensive. They tended to go down. If you put everyone in the same building, in a meet me room style environment, you get far better scaling efficiencies. And it used to be that was just communications. Now what's happened is you have basically every part of the digital ecosystem coexisting in common sets of facilities such as ours.
So in essence, and if I use the incorrect metaphor, correct me, the whole idea now is to put the transport core networks in the same place as the people who are serving up the content so the end user experience is better?
Absolutely, yep. You put everybody in the same place, and then you generally have to localize the content. People's expectations of the performance of applications tends to be driven by history. So it used to be a computer sat under your desk. Well, now a computer sits in, quote unquote, the cloud connected to a telecommunications network. Well, that means that source, whatever it is, a server sitting somewhere, has to sit relatively close to the end user for there to be acceptable performance.
Let's talk a little bit about latency from the standpoint of me, little end user somewhere. My experience of voice is, well, it's changed over the last 20 years. I mean, I can tolerate a lot less quality and robustness in my voice. On the other hand, when I'm consuming content, I notice that I get cranky much faster. Why is that?
It's funny. It's speed is its own reward. It's sort of a human characteristic to want more and more, but it's really driven by what I was saying before about the fact that most people's expectations around the way they deal with applications or content was driven by historical behavior where the actual server sat under your desk, right? So all of a sudden, if that thing moves hundreds of miles away, you start to end up with more latency and you're less tolerant of a poor experience. And so what we've seen in our business is, we've had to expand to keep up with that demand. So, today we're in 15 countries in 31 metro markets around the world, and constantly looking at new expansion markets precisely because this phenomenon is a global phenomenon. It happens everywhere. And particularly in the PAC Rim, it's the fastest growing part of our business.
Now I would guess, at least, well, this is my personal opinion, over the next 20 years, Asia Pacific is going to come to represent what percentage of total global communications activity would you guess?
Oh, I'd say, relatively shortly it'll probably be 50% of what you see spent in total. I mean, in our own company, it's not only, it's the smallest portion right now. Not by a lot, it lags a little bit behind our European business, but it's growing twice as fast.
Okay.
So.
And not to be heretical, but I'm an old telco guy.
Okay.
And as I look at the function of networks these days and what it is my end user customers are really looking for, I'm sort of thinking that the global network now has to be a giant content delivery network more than a voice network.
Yes.
Is that overstretching it? Or is that
No, not at all. I mean, it's, the whole phenomenon of first it was content, it was video, and video is actually also a tolerant thing. You can queue it. You can fake out the end user into things. It doesn't have to be exactly as fast.
Yeah, unless it's live, real-time video conference. Now you're dead.
Now all of a sudden, when you get symmetrical communication, and that's applications or teleconferencing. Teleconferencing used to be the exception to the rule. Now, all of a sudden, every application you can imagine has gone onto the network, and those are all symmetrical applications, so therefore the tolerance and the demands of the end user are quite high in terms of what they expect the experience to be.
Jim, thanks very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching.